Imagine standing on the absolute edge of a steep cliff, completely paralyzed by the fear of falling, while your entire family soars beautifully in the sky without you. Or imagine flying a plane thousands of feet in the air, only to be swallowed by a massive pitch-black storm where every single one of your instruments instantly dies. Today, we are breaking down two heart-pounding, incredible tales about facing the terrifying unknown. Welcome to our next story breakdown, featuring two distinct stories about flying. Our first tale, His First Flight by Liam O'Flaherty, centers on a young seagull who is absolutely terrified to take his first flight. He is convinced that his wings are simply too weak to support him. Meanwhile, his siblings, who actually have shorter wings than he does, are already flying confidently in the open sky. Unlike them, the young seagull lacks courage and refuses to trust his own abilities. Every single time he tries to move toward the edge of the cliff to take the leap, fear completely overcomes him and he retreats. His parents try everything. They constantly scold him, urge him, and even threaten him, warning that if he doesn't learn to fly, he will be left to starve entirely alone on the ledge. But their efforts prove useless. The young bird just watches helplessly while his family teaches his siblings how to skim the waves and catch fish. Finally, the family decides to use a little tough love. They leave him completely alone for 24 hours without a single bite of food to motivate him. By the next day, the blazing sun is beating down on his ledge, and the young seagull is absolutely desperate. Starving and miserable, he begs his mother to bring him some food. Seeing his distress, his mother cleverly grabs a piece of fish and flies across to him. But she doesn't feed him. She intentionally stops just out of reach, trying to divert his attention from his paralyzing fear to his raging hunger. The plan works perfectly. Exasperated and driven entirely by hunger, the young bird leans out eagerly and dives straight toward the food. In that instant, he falls outward into the open space, and a monstrous terror seizes him as he feels himself plunging downward. He cries and screams, but then instinct takes over. His wings automatically spread outwards, and he realizes he is actually flying. Filled with excitement and relief, he soars higher, skimming through the waves and diving for fish right alongside his siblings. He finally conquers his fear through pure necessity and instinct, proving that courage ultimately comes from taking action. But the thrills do not stop at the edge of a cliff. Our second story, The Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth, takes us straight up into the terrifying midnight sky. This mysterious story follows a pilot flying an old Dakota DS-088 aeroplane from France to England. He is flying happily, dreaming of spending the holidays with his family and enjoying a wholesome English breakfast in the morning. However, after covering about 150 kilometers, his peaceful flight turns into a total nightmare. He suddenly encounters thick, threatening storm clouds that look like massive dark mountains blocking his entire path. Confused but determined to get home, he makes the risky decision to fly straight through the storm. The moment he enters, everything around him becomes pitch black. He can no longer see a single thing outside the aircraft. Panic sets in as his compass, radio, and all other vital equipment suddenly turn completely dead. To make matters worse, he barely has enough fuel left in his tank. He is completely helpless, scared, and lost in the raging storm. Just when all hope seems lost, he notices another aeroplane flying right alongside his own. Strangely, this black aeroplane has absolutely no lights on its wings. The pilot of this mysterious plane turns, waves his hand, and signals for the narrator to follow him. Feeling like a child trusting his guardian, the narrator follows the black plane through the terrifying storm. Fear grips him again as his second fuel tank drops to only 5 to 10 minutes worth of fuel. But he bravely continues following the mysterious aircraft until they finally break free from the clouds. Suddenly, he sees a row of lights on the ground. It is a runway. He lands his plane safely. Overwhelmed with relief, he immediately goes to the control center receptionist to find the other pilot and thank him for saving his life. But what she tells him leaves him completely dumbstruck. She shockingly informs him that there was absolutely no other aircraft on the radar that night. His Dakota was the only plane in the sky. The pilot is left with massive unsolved questions, wondering if the Black Aeroplane was a trick of his imagination, a hallucination, or some kind of unexplainable supernatural intervention. Together, these two stories deliver an incredibly powerful message about taking that terrifying first step. The young seagull shows us that immense growth often begins with deep discomfort and is achieved through bold action. Meanwhile, the pilot's journey reminds us that in our darkest storms, help can arrive when we least expect it, and trusting our faith and instinct can guide us safely home. Both characters prove that facing our fears head-on leads to the ultimate discovery of our own strength.